Happy Thursday, Wenatchee Valley. Happy Thursday, North Central Washington. Happy Thursday to everybody out there who have decided to start their day with us. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley right here on the NCW Life Channel. It is Thursday, the 28th day of September, 2017. I am Dan Kuntz, your host for the next hour. Steve Herron to my immediate left, our news director. Good morning to you, Steve.
Welcome to this Friday Eve.
It is Friday Eve, isn't it?
I guess you could say that.
Yeah. It's the last Thursday of the month, October. I can't believe it's almost October.
I know.
This month has gone whew, right by.
What is about October in beer? Do they have something coming up soon?
In Leavenworth? Yes. Yes, they do, as a matter of fact.
Oktoberfest?
Yes, Oktoberfest. I'm going to decline participation this year in Oktoberfest.
Oh.
Nothing personal. It's a great party. I don't have a weekend free to do it. So.
Oh, well, you're a busy boy.
Yeah, busy boy. Lots of things going on. Beautiful weather forecast. Boy, I hope you had a chance to enjoy yesterday. If you didn't enjoy today, because then that's it. Summertime will officially be done. So near record high temperature today. Forecast details are coming up. Steve's got a bunch of news to get to. Boy, you were busy yesterday.
Boy, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff. In fact, some breaking news in the afternoon we'll tell you about as well.
Lots to get to in the news department. That's what Steve is here for. Sports, we'll preview the weekend, tomorrow night's game with the Wenatchee Wild in two ways. During sports, we'll be hearing from Coach Bliss Littler. And then the second half of the show, of course, whenever the Wenatchee Wild have a home game, Arch Ecker has an open invitation to come by and see me. And wouldn't you know it, he showed up.
And he called first.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Arch will be here in the second half of the show. We have a couple of big-time local celebrities celebrating a couple of big-time local birthdays. We'll get to that. Also today in history, the obscure holiday, and a whole bunch more on this Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live from Studio 42 here in downtown Wenatchee. Sunrise happened about 6 minutes ago, so we should have some spectacular footage from our Sky-Fi cameras. And there, that's pulled way back, isn't it? Isn't that just gorgeous? Of course, that's the cross camera, located right next to the cross. I think that's just a little bit of fog I see in the middle, where the Wenatchee meets the Columbia. Am
little
I picking
haze.
that up? Little haze, little fog. It's chilly. And boy, you talk about your temperature variations.
Oh boy.
You know, 51, 52 in the morning and 84 in the afternoon. We're on that roller coaster ride. And as I mentioned at the top of the hour, we got some fairly dramatic change in the weather just in time for the weekend coming our way. Details are coming up. So that's our cross camera, pulled back quite a bit. In fact, you can even see the little ridge there at the very tip of Wenatchee Heights.
Touched by the sunshine.
Yeah, just being kissed.
Where are we
by
going next, Caitlin?
Let's see where we go together. That's Wapato Point again, so that means that is the Manson camera, as usual. And this is a good idea of how much sunlight we're losing each day. We did that camera just a couple of days ago, and the hills that you see at the middle of your screen were bathed in sunlight, not so much today.
And the waters of the lake just being rippled by a slight zephyr this morning, huh?
Okay, if you say so. We're losing about 2.5 minutes of daylight a day, by the way, for the record. Camera number 3.
There's a little bit of
That's Leavenworth.
fog.
Yep.
I know they were doing some prescribed burning up there in the Chumstick yesterday. So.
Were they? Maybe that has to be some residual
I was gonna say,
smoke
yeah.
from the Chumstick prescription. So do you have to go to a doctor and get a prescription for these burns?
Only if you have a subscription.
Right, a subscription to a prescription.
There you go, yeah.
I understand completely. So you can see a little lingering smoke there on the left-hand side of your screen as we look at Leavenworth. And as Steve mentioned, our understanding is there is some sort of big celebration going on in Leavenworth this weekend.
Yeah, something having to do with beer?
With beer, yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, camera number 4, and that is
Looking
Cougar Ridge.
west to the Cascades.
Yep,
from
I believe that is Cougar Ridge. So Omi Garden to your right. We mentioned this a couple of days ago. This is the great time of year to visit Omi Garden. It really is.
Very pretty up
Yeah,
there.
especially today. Otabashian Bridge, you can see the Town Toyota Center on the far left. You can see the Stamilk Complex. Lots of buildings there in the old station industrial area.
You're going to be busy here in the next couple of months with the apples coming in.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Harvest season.
I have to try the new apple that we profiled.
Rave.
Yeah, I got to do that.
Good apple.
Yeah. Before the day is over, I'm going to go out to the Smilt retail store.
If
out
they
there.
have any.
If they,
Yeah, they pretty much sold out of them.
I'm an important person. I can make some phone calls. If they're sold out, they're sold out, and I guess it's my dumb luck. 4.5 minutes after the hour. Weather forecast from the National Weather Service looks like this. Look at that, 85 degrees today. A late summer day will continue today and kind of spilling a little bit into Friday. But the weekend, a lot cooler. It's going to be breezy. Could even see a raindrop or two. No real significant rain. In fact, we're going to be in a bit of a rain shadow. The Puget Sound area is going to get some rain, Steve, and the Spokane area is going to get some rain, but not us.
I would imagine they might get a little snow for the higher elevations too. Huh?
No, there's no real snow in the higher elevations in the forecast. It's going
Above 9,000 feet, maybe.
Yeah, way up there. The jet stream is a little out of position right now, so it's there's just not enough moisture to justify snow. 85 today. The clouds start to thicken up. By Friday morning, it's going to be beautiful like it is today, but by Friday afternoon, the clouds will be here. By Saturday, sunshine, but a lot cooler, only 69. It's like riding a roller coaster. Sunday, partly sunny and 66. Overnight lows will be in the mid-40s. And as you can see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as we say goodbye to September and welcome October, it's going to feel like autumn.
It is, definitely.
So there you go. As far as chance of rain, maybe a skosh, a little bit on Friday. The one thing that we didn't see on the screen there, it's going to be a little breezy Friday night into Saturday, and that's really about it. Today's going to be a gorgeous day today. Drop dead gorgeous. Take the day off and go out and enjoy this last blast of summer 2017. 6 minutes after the hour, going to take a quick 1 minute break. When we come back, Steve Hare has a whole bunch of news to fill your brain with all the information you need to start your Thursday. You're watching Wake Up in Anchi Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Having a relationship with your pediatrician is so important. Feeling that sense of trust, that is priceless. I tell everybody about CVCH. I love it there. When I make an appointment, I don't have to take an entire day off. As a working mom, my life is really busy. Family time is everything. That's what we all work towards. And I feel like CVCH respects that.
Hi, Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. When you think of Alpine Air in Wenatchee, think of professional, friendly customer service for all your heating and cooling needs. Alpine Air partners with Carrier, manufacturers of some of the best heating and air conditioning equipment available today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Visit our store in Wenatchee, meet our people, see our shop. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Steve Hare with you on a Thursday morning. Here's what's happening around north central Washington. First of all, in a developing story from late yesterday afternoon. Law enforcement officials closed a portion of Highway 2, as you see here from our Sky-Fi cam image from yesterday afternoon. Chelan County Sheriff's deputies searched for two men suspected in a shooting in Dryden. Chelan County Sheriff Brian Burnett said the victim was shot and may have also been beaten with a baseball bat. Incident occurred at a home on Josephine Avenue in Dryden. Sheriff Burnett said the search warrant has been obtained for that residence. State Patrol troopers closed both lanes of the roadway from the Big Y to Dryden. County deputies cordoned off a perimeter around that shooting scene and initially used a dog to search for the suspects, who authorities now believe may have fled in a car. The victim was transported to Central Washington Hospital, where his condition is unknown at this time. No names have been released. We don't have descriptions yet of the suspects, but again, we'll be following that story throughout the day and provide you with more details as that information develops from the Chelan County Sheriff's Department. Elsewhere in the news, area fire crews made quick work of a small little fire that broke out yesterday afternoon behind the Fred Meyer store in East Wenatchee. Again, here's the scene of the fire yesterday afternoon from our Sky-Fi cam image. The fire started in the ditch between State Route 28 and the Fred Meyer gas station around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, the fire burned briefly in grass, sagebrush, and trees before being extinguished about a half hour later. There were no injuries. The cause of that fire is under investigation, or at least it's not known to us at this report. Well, plans to establish regular, non-stop flights from Pangbourne Airport to San Francisco are going forward for sure at this point. Now all we need is an airline to provide the service. In fact, Chelan County Port District Executive Director Pat Jones announced yesterday morning that a multitude of businesses and organizations have pledged over $400,000 to entice an airline to provide that service.
I want to start by thanking the company that was almost last in but put us over the top with a very big and substantial contribution, and that was our friends at Microsoft. And Microsoft operates a data center over in Quincy. The another demonstration that Pangbourne is a regional airport serving 4 counties, not just our 2 counties here locally. And Microsoft came through with a $43,000 contribution. They're starting to become much more active in our community and supportive of the things that are going on here. They support WADA and other local organizations. So thanks to Microsoft. Jack Eaton is here from Microsoft this morning. Jack, would you stand up? And Jack tells me he is persistently annoying, and that's what
The Port will apply for a federal grant to match the local funds to be used to lure a commercial carrier to this area. The funds would help offset the airline's possible loss of revenue. Now, the port is in the process now of recruiting a potential air service to the San Francisco Bay Area that would be in addition to Horizon Air's regular daily shuttle service to Seattle. Yesterday's announcement was made at a special Port District-hosted breakfast program at the Wenatchee Convention Center. And in a related story, the Chelan County Port is plotting a new course of direction for economic development over the next 20 years, and infrastructure will be a major driver. Yesterday, Port Commissioner Rory Turner provided a snapshot of how the port intends to partner with other organizations to encourage new business growth in the area. In fact, we had a chance to talk with Chelan County PUD General Manager Steve Wright, who commented on how the utility works with the port in bringing new business such as the Diamond Foundry to Wenatchee.
Well, let me first of all say we're excited about the strategic plan and the new leadership at the port. We think they're really doing an excellent job in supporting economic development and making it happen here in Chelan County. We've worked together with them on this new project called the Diamond Foundry, and very excited to hear that Diamond Foundry has decided to move here to Wenatchee. I think the number one thing that the PUD does is provide infrastructure. One of the panelists today spoke to the need for infrastructure if you're trying to recruit new businesses. And in addition to the low rates that we provide, of course, we provide a fabulous fiber broadband service, which is really unique for rural counties in America to have the kind of fiber and broadband services that we have. And in some parts of the county, we're providing water and wastewater services too.
Going forward, as we're trying to recruit new business to the area, a lot of them are very energy dependent and demand a lot of electrical power. How do you see the PUD's policies for selling power to these types of businesses changing possibly over the next few years?
Well, I think we've already made some changes with the adoption of what's called the high density load rate, because what it does is it assures that the price that we sell power to for these new businesses coming to town is at our cost of production, so we're not losing money on those sales. That helps to protect the low rates for the existing customers, yet at the same time promote economic development. And I think with the sale that's been made, we still have a contract pending. We don't have a closed contract with the Diamond Foundry, but we think we're very close. What we've shown is that that rate is still a very attractive rate to people who are considering developing here.
And it generates jobs.
And it generates jobs. And this is one of the important things that we need. When we did our strategic plan a few years ago, we did a customer survey. And the customers identified 2 primary things that they thought were most important. One was further developing the fiber and broadband service, and the second was economic development. Now, we don't have economic development as part of our statutory mission, but just by providing infrastructure, we make a difference. And so we can work with a bunch of partners here, the port, the cities, the county, in order to be able to promote jobs here, and that's a good thing for everybody that lives here.
And again, that's Steve Wright with the PUD. He attended that meeting yesterday at the Convention Center where the port formally announced that the Diamond Foundry will be locating its manufacturing operation to property the company is leasing from Stemilt Growers off North Wenatchee Avenue on that property that was damaged by the Sleepy Hollow fire. One final note, NCW Life this morning notes the passing of a prominent Wenatchee attorney, Bob Parlett. The man who's credited for helping drive the development of the Apple Capitol Loop Trail died Tuesday at his home. Parlett was married to former state senator Linda Evans Parlett. He practiced law, also served as chief legal counsel for the Chelan County PUD. But it was his advocacy for the area's natural resources and longtime commitment to creating more public access to the Columbia River waterfront that endeared him to many in the outdoor recreation community. Most recently, Parlett was involved in a successful effort to establish a public trail along the Wenatchee riverfront in Peshastin. He commented on that project recently with KPQ, or rather NCW Life News.
Today, we finally got the last steps taken care of. That is the deed from the Port District to Mr. Goebel to the Complete the Loop Coalition is being recorded today, and the deed from the Complete the Loop Coalition to the Department of Fish and Wildlife is going to be recorded. So it's all wrapped up after a 3-year process that involved many, many recreation and wildlife interests, and particularly the Trout Unlimited people.
And again, a little more about Parlett. He graduated from the U.S. Air Force Academy. He was a fighter pilot during the Vietnam War. He also attended the University of Washington, where he received his law degree in 1972. Parlett was 76 years old. He is survived by his wife, Linda, 5 grandchildren, and 3 granddaughters. But again, great guy. Bob Parlett, considered him a friend and just a tireless advocate and visionary for public access to the trails of Wenatchee and Chelan County.
The Apple Capital Loop Trail in its current incarnation would not exist without Bob Parlett.
No,
and others as well. Dr. Gordon Congdon and others were involved in the process, but Bob was very much not only the getting his hands dirty kind of work, but from an organizational standpoint and certainly from a cheerleading standpoint, Bob was the number one trail guy that we all know.
Absolutely. He and Gordon Congdon Sr.
Yeah.
As you remember. But one final note, that meeting yesterday where we were talking about the new flight service to San Francisco that's coming here. It was also announced yesterday that Pangborn Memorial Airport in East Wenatchee is the fastest growing regional airport in Washington State right now.
Got the new runway. That has a lot to do with it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Big things ahead.
Speaking of big things, you can get everything you need to know in one tidy little half-hour package with our nightly news. Grant Olson in the anchor chair, Eric Granstrom handling sports. It's a great show. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. The local news, NCW Life Channel News with Grant Olson here on the NCW Life Channel. 17 minutes after the hour, live from Studio 8 in downtown Wenatchee. When we come back, sports and everything else. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Thursday edition on the NCW Life Channel.
The Arbiter of Stoke is a series that highlights a variety of outdoor adventure sports that are available in the Pacific Northwest. I dedicate my time to enjoying this natural playground. The decision is yours. How will you keep your Stoke?
Who had the reception, and now he collects the touchdown. Got on goal, Wenatchee scores. Riggin lines up a three. Yes! Oh my goodness! Figure out where the line is, where they'll cover from. West sliding on the bottom, and he got the pin. Swung on and hit hard to left field. Caught out there in left field. The shot score! And Wenatchee Valley wins it.
On the NCW Life Channel, your local TV station.
Just about 19 minutes after the hour on this Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz. Let's do sports, and first of all, your prep schedule for today. We'll start out with soccer. Bridgeport will take on Manson, and Keona Benton is at Cascades, and Cashmere and Chelan will do battle in Chelan. All of those 4:30 is when they start, and then the big battle, Eastmont and Wenatchee at Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. They'll begin at 7 o'clock tonight. In volleyball tonight, it is Cashmere at Chelan. They'll get going at 6:30. Wenatchee will be at Eastmont, and that will be live right here on the NCW Life Channel from the Eastmont Gymnasium. Wenatchee and Eastmont. This will be a great volleyball game. Eric Granstrom and Leanne Brandom will be broadcasting again live right here at 7 o'clock tonight. Swimming and diving, West Valley will be at the Wenatchee High School pool at 4 o'clock. Slow pitch softball. The West Valley Wenatchee doubleheader will be played at Foothills Middle School because Walla Walla Point Park has been converted to soccer for the season. They don't have any softball fences there anymore. After today's game, the Panthers will play their home games at Wenatchee Valley College's softball field. Today's twin bill and slow pitch softball begins at 3. And a quick note about the Wenatchee football athletic director Jim Beeson says Saturday's scheduled JV game at Post Falls has been canceled because of a lack of available players on the home team. Well, the Wenatchee Wild are preparing to host Cowichan Valley tomorrow night at the Town Toyota Center. Last weekend, Wenatchee went 1-0-1 at the Bauer BCHL Showcase in Chilliwack. Our Checkers sat down with Coach Bliss Littler to talk about last weekend's game, starting with that 3-3 draw with Nanaimo.
There wasn't much not to like about how we played against Nanaimo. I was real happy that, again, most nights you play that well, you're going to win by 2 or 3 goals. And again, we had a couple of maybe unfortunate bounces over a quick minute and a half, 2-minute span, and then an untimely penalty at the end. But we didn't give up many chances. We created quite a few chances that overall we felt real good about our play.
And then Sunday morning of last weekend, Wenatchee shut out a very physical Langley team to take 3 out of a possible 4 points over the weekend.
They play an extremely physical style of play. I thought we held up to that. I thought we gave it right back. I thought it was a good hockey game. That it was a great game for us to be involved in early in the year, where we had to push back. And the special teams are very good. 5-on-5 as the game went on, I thought we got stronger. So overall, like I say, there wasn't much not to like with the effort both Saturday and Sunday.
Coach Littler says they're spending most of this week not only to learn about their opponent on Friday, but also to develop a wild style of play.
They have a new coach. It looks like they've brought a decent amount of Canadian players in from Eastern Canada. At least statistically, it shows they have the top power play in the league. So initially, it goes to that area that we need to be prepared for their power play. But we'll do some work on them with tape this week. And again, right now for us, it's a matter of more so us playing our game, creating good habits right now, and having those habits carry from one game to the next week, to the next month, and for us getting better each week.
The puck drops tomorrow night at 7:05 at the Town Toyota Center. That game will be our Wild hockey game of the night next Thursday, a week from tonight, when the Wild and the Thursday night hockey resumes here on the NCW Live channel. By the way, of course, Arch will be here in a few minutes to talk about Wild hockey on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley in about 10 minutes or so from now. Mark Cano had a one-out walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th inning. Unfortunately, Mark plays for the Oakland Athletics, and the A's beat the Mariners yesterday afternoon. The final was 6-5. The ending ruined a great game offensively for Robinson Cano and Nelson Cruz. Each delivered 2-run home runs, with Cano's being the game-tying shot in the 8th. The homer was his 38th of the season for Cruz, and it brought his RBI total to American League leading 117. Seattle has the day off today before they wrap up the season with a 3-game series against the Angels beginning tomorrow in Anaheim. Marco Gonzalez will take to the mound for the Mariners. The Cubs clinched their 2nd straight National League Central Division title on Wednesday. They beat the St. Louis Cardinals 5-1. They advanced to the postseason for a 3rd straight year. It took a loss from the Angels to make it official, but the Minnesota Twins made history last night. They became the first team in Major League history to make the postseason one season after losing 100 or more games. They lost 103 games, the Twins did last year. They are baseball's Cinderella story for the 2017 baseball playoffs. They clinched the spot in the 2nd American League wildcard slot just after the 4-2 loss to the Indians. The clinch came when the White Sox went extra innings with the Angels. Here is the celebration, I think. Looked like our weekly staff meeting. The team posted that video on the Twins Twitter account as Chicago's Nick Delamico crushed the walk-off home run. The Sox beat the Angels. Minnesota goes into the playoffs. For the American League, it is set. All the teams are locked and loaded. The only thing that may change in the American League on who wins the American League East, it can either be the Boston Red Sox or the New York Yankees. Either way, the American League playoff picture is set. The National League right now, there's still some uncertainty for that 2nd wild card spot. Right now, the Rockies have the edge. Baseball playoffs begin next week. 25 minutes after the hour, it's time for the obscure holiday of the day today. On Wake Up in Antioch Valley, always celebrated on September 28th. It is National Good Neighbor Day. It started back in the early 1970s. Lakeside, Montana, the location. Her name is Mrs. Becky Matson, and she recognized the importance of having good neighbors, started the effort to make it a national day. She actually wrote the president, and President Nixon made it happen. They didn't make it official. They just issued proclamations. President Nixon, President Ford, President Carter, and finally in 2003, Montana Senator Max Baucus made it official. It was signed, sealed, and delivered. And September 28th is National Good Neighbor Day. Having good neighbors is an important thing to have. Not everybody has good neighbors. If you live in a general neighborhood, there's always one neighbor that just either they're not very good or you don't really know who they are. Make an effort to get to know your neighbors. National Good Neighbor Day today. 26 minutes after the hour. Let's do Today in History. It was September 28th, 1924, 93 years ago today. The first round-the-world flight was completed. Isn't that a cool logo? 4 planes following each other left Seattle, Washington on April 6th, and they landed in Seattle, Washington on September 28th. So it took 175 days, covered 27,553 miles, and it was a Douglas airplane that did it, so that's why Douglas has that famous logo that we're all familiar with. And now that McDonnell Douglas is owned by Boeing, but they kept the logo of the planes going around the world. That's the origin of that. It ended on this date in 1924. 89 years ago today, September 28th, 1928, there's the man. Alexander Fleming went to work down at his laboratory in the basement, and he was just kind of dinking around, and he noticed there was a Petri dish that had been mistakenly left open, and it was sitting next to an open window, and he noticed there was mold on it. And he also noticed that the mold was stopped, and he figured out, hey, there must be some kind of bacteria that kind of kept the mold from growing and getting any bigger. And with that came penicillin. Penicillin, discovered totally accidentally on this date by Alexander Fleming in 1928. Boy, are we glad he did. 1936 was the year, 81 years ago today. Look at the box score. The Brooklyn Dodgers, and this is the Brooklyn Dodgers football team, took on the Boston Redskins football team. You see the bottom of that? Look at that. They played an entire NFL game without a penalty on either team. It's only happened 4 times in the history of the National Football League, the last time in 1940. Can you believe that? No penalties on either team for the entire game. It happened 81 years ago today. And 49 years ago today, a song you may have heard of, a little ditty written by Paul McCartney called Hey Jude, started a 9-week run at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 9 consecutive weeks. It was the #1 tune in America. Of course, Paul McCartney wrote the song about John Lennon's son, Julian. It was the Beatles' biggest hit in the United States, and it was the biggest selling song of 1968. Hey Jude hit #1 on this date in 1968. 28 minutes after the hour, our last item of business, birthdays. There were so many of them, I didn't want to leave anybody out. So we'll start out with Confucius. Confucius, the teacher, the editor, politician, philosopher, was born in this state in 551 BC, died in 479 BC at the age of 71. His most famous quote, "Do not do to others what you do not want done to yourself." The golden rule, among many, many philosophical statements from the great Confucius, born in this state in 1551. Thomas Crapper was born in this state in 1836. Unlike, well, the urban legend is Thomas Crapper invented the flush toilet. He didn't, but he invented the ball cock. And the ball cock is that round thing in your toilet basin that tells the toilet how much water is in the back of it, that little black thing that goes up and down when you flush the toilet. He did invent the ball cock. Thomas Crapper, born in this state in 1936, passed away in 1910 at the age of 73. Ed Sullivan, a television legend. He's an interesting guy. He couldn't sing, couldn't dance, couldn't play a musical instrument, couldn't tell a joke, had no entertainment talent whatsoever, but he certainly knew how to find talent. Ed Sullivan, for 23 years, from 1948 to 1971, host of the Ed Sullivan Show, the longest-running variety show in U.S. history. Ed Sullivan was born in this state in 1901. It was a really big shoe. Passed away in 1974 at the age of 73. Peter Finch will always be known as Howard Beale. Won an Academy Award as Howard Beale in the great motion picture called Network. He became the first actor ever to win an Academy Award posthumously. He passed away about 3 weeks before the Academy Awards were issued that year. The great actor Peter Finch, not just Network, but he did some fantastic work. Peter Finch was born in the state of 1916, again, passed away at the age of 60 in 1977. Perhaps the most legendary Seahawk of all time. Oh, the heck, he is the most legendary Seahawk of all time. Not that guy. That's Tucker. I'm talking about Steve Largent. Steve Largent is 63 years old today. When he retired, of course, he held all the major receiving records in the National Football League. The great Steve Largent, Hall of Famer in 1995. Now, can we go back to Tucker's photo? There he is. There's our good friend. Tucker Wagner celebrates his 21st birthday today. Tucker is one of our great content producers here. He designs almost all of our sets, does a lot of commercial work. He's a good guy. Tucker Wagner is 21 years old today. We don't have a photo of Tucker. That's the closest we could come. And happy birthday to Lily Waterhouse. We don't have Lily's photo. Lily is celebrating her 19th birthday today. She's down in California. She's attending Biola University down in La Miranda, California. She's playing tennis, studying psychology, going to school, getting good grades. Happy 19th birthday to Lily Waterhouse. Lily, that comes from your dad, Dan, our good friend here at the Broadcast Metroplex. It is 31 minutes after the hour. Man, this show is just flying right by. Before we find out what's on Mike Magnotti's mind today, by the way, the topic is Bob Dylan with Mike Magnotti's commentary. Special thanks to our sponsors, Weinstein Beverage, the distributors of this product, Pepsi Zero. They cracked the code at Pepsi. They tried for years and years to figure out how to make a product that tastes just like Pepsi with no sugar, because Pepsi, the regular Pepsi, has sugar in it. This is Pepsi Zero. It tastes just like Pepsi. It has no sugar in it. It's a miracle. We don't know how it happened. It's better than penicillin. It's distributed in North Central Washington by Weinstein Beverage. Don't take my word for it. Check it out. Pick yourself up a 12-pack today. And special thanks to our friends at Highgate Senior Living. It's all about engagement. At Highgate Senior Living, if you're a resident there, you're going to have one-on-one interaction with the employees who work there. Gives you a chance to do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it. Highgate Senior Living, they don't warehouse people, they love people. Each day to the fullest. It's not some cosmetic slogan that they came up with to slap on coffee mugs. It's the real deal. They actually believe it, and they should, because that's the way to do it. Each and every day to the fullest at Highgate Senior Living. Call Melissa. Get yourself a tour, all right? 32 minutes after the hour, everyone's entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion, and Arch Ecker, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild, will be in studio when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
This is Melissa Knott, and I'd like to welcome you to Highgate Senior Living, where our residents become friends and our friends become family. Come enjoy a quiet moment in our beautiful courtyard, or join your friends for great conversation. Improve your balance with one of our many gentle exercise classes, and enjoy home-cooked meals with friends in our beautiful dining room. Highgate Senior Living, each day to the fullest.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house, fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and Local Public House, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.
Join us for Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel. This former police sergeant is plugged into not only the world of the streets, he's an actor and connoisseur of the arts. So join Mike and his guests for, well, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mondays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., and Wednesdays at 5:30. It's Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel.
Hey everyone, Frank Ferrari here at Frank's Used Cars. That's right, Frank's Used Cars, where everybody can wear clothes like this. If you come down today, you can buy this truck for $213. That's cheap, but it only lasts today. Right, Fred? Say yes. Or say something. Say something. Forget about Frank. Here at Town Nissan, we're fun, we're fair, and we're fabulous. Town Nissan, behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
At Works, we believe our purpose is to serve the entire community. So for September, if you're an adult resident of the Wenatchee Valley, we're inviting you to be a Works member at no cost. We call it Everyone's a Member in September. Whether exercise is already a habit or you've decided to make it one, visit either Works location and we'll get your habit started or we'll help you keep it going. We are your workout prescription.
Okay, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, during my senior year of high school, I used to play music over the PA system before classes started, and one day I was playing some Bob Dylan. Well, one of the teachers was listening, and she said, "I like Bob Dylan's music, but I wish somebody else would sing the songs." And then she walked out of the office, and thankfully out of my life. Bob Dylan, voice and all, he's a legend. And this crazy lady wanted somebody else to sing his songs. I mean, like him or hate him, that's fine, okay, but whatever. But Bob Dylan is who he is. He's a music icon, was then, is now. And because of his lyrics and also because of his vocalizing, somebody else should sing his songs. Sheesh. It's just another example of having an education but still being stupid. Okay, well, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion.
Lake Chelan mailboxes find solutions and the best price for all your shipping needs, including UPS, FedEx, and the U.S. Postal Service. We offer a variety of services including quality copies of all sizes, faxing, scanning, sending and receiving email, laminating, and notarizing. Enjoy browsing through our large selection of greeting cards. Lake Chelan Mailboxes supports our military, fire victims, and our community. Come see us at the Plaza in Lake Chelan.
Dear Mary Maids, please clean the kitchen, and the cabinets, and floors, and the chairs. And I wish you could clean the dog. Colin is now feeding himself. Thanks, Megan.
Hi, Megan. No worries. We got it all cleaned up. Let's hope Colin gets past the spaghetti flinging stage soon. Till then, we've got you covered. See you next time. Mary Maids.
With the whole family online these days, speed matters. Good thing LocalTel has the consistent speeds it takes to keep everyone happy. In the den with a tablet, streaming a movie in HD, on the home office computer, and using Wi-Fi on a smartphone instead of using up your data plan. It can all happen at once with no waiting. Speed matters. Call or visit LocalTel online to get set up with high-speed internet today.
Welcome to NCW Life News. I'm Grant Olson.
Of the NCW Life Legislative Hotline, I'm Steve Hare.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
And now, your weather forecast for north central Washington.
We're here at the downtown fire station right now.
Dry and warm weather pattern for Friday.
Considering that we're supposed to be 103 degrees today, how do you keep these guys cool?
And this just in, traffic is slowed in the Orondo area as firefighters attack a brush fire.
Right here on NCW Life News.
"39 minutes after the hour, whenever our checker drops by, that's good news. Number one, you and I get to visit and have some fun and frivolity. And number two, we get to talk wild hockey. I noticed you were frivolity. You were kind of moving around to the theme song. You like the theme to Wake Up and
No, I was actually, my elbow was sticking in there, so I was kind of just pulling it out.
Oh, okay.
So it made it look like I was boogieing.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm outstanding. I'm doing really well.
Good start, good early season start for the Wenatchee Wild. Have they developed a personality? Have they developed a style yet? Is it still too early to really get your finger on what this team is?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's still forming, but they're definitely kind of a signature Bliss Littler team in that there's a lot of skill, there's a lot of speed, and the freedom to be creative to make plays. That's what they've always sort of hung their hat on, at least since Bliss has been here, and this team looks like it's got the makings to follow that suit.
Does this team do more line? Does Bliss, as an overall philosophy, do more line changes than other teams? I've kind of noticed that over the last couple of years.
Line changes,
There seems to be a lot more guys coming in off the bench than, say, the opponents.
During the course of a game?
Yeah. It seems a lot of people get a lot of ice time, is what I'm saying.
Well, you know what? Actually, it's pretty common. Now, situations may dictate a little different as far as, when a team gets pinned in their own defensive zone, it's pretty hard to get a change in. But by and large, 45 seconds to a minute is about as long as you want to be on the ice on a shift. So you should be seeing consistent changes in lines. Now, both teams will do that. Now, the other factor is the home team gets the last change. They're always going to try to match up against what the other team's putting out. Also, another factor is when a team gets behind, sometimes there's a phrase called shortening your bench. And what that means is normally you got 4 lines of guys, of 3 guys each, right? With the 4 lines, and you go maybe with your top 2 or 3, and you kind of just start rolling through them because they're more of your higher percentage to score lines. Even though your 4th line or your ostensible 4th line is capable of scoring, they sometimes have a different role. The thing that we, at least since I've been here for sure, is that all 4 lines.
You're not going to believe this, Arch. Mike just went out again. Remember this happened last time? His mic is out, right? I'll tell you what.
I'll talk louder.
No.
Until the break.
Here's what we'll do. We'll take a break, and we'll. What is it with you and the mic pack? Every time.
I think it's Caitlin.
Is it?
I think it's our engineer extraordinaire back there.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, hopefully we'll be able to hear Arch cleaner and crisper than we are
you will.
right now. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Woo!
We'll be right back.
They're not your whole life, but they do make your life whole. At Paws and Claws Veterinary Hospital, not only do they understand that fact, they live it every day. Dr. Bayes and her staff at Paws and Claws love dogs and cats so much they've dedicated their lives to the well-being of our 4-legged friends. They offer compassionate care with a personal touch. Paws and Claws Veterinary Hospital on the corner of 4th and Nile in East Wenatchee, or call 888-PAWS.
What do you think of the show so far?
Welcome to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, where no detail is too small.
This is the second time in the last 2 visits that your mic pack went out.
I'm trying not to take it personal.
Yeah, it's
really.
We love you. You know that, Arch.
No,
That's why we
I'm
invite
sure.
you back.
I feel the love. You just don't like to listen to me.
In the meantime, back at the rink, we were discussing the strengths of the Wenatchee Wild, which is pretty much across the board. Let's.
We're talking about line changes.
Line
just to
changes,
kind of
yes.
finish that thought. The Wild have had the luxury of being able to roll 4 lines, so you will see the guys constantly rolling through, and sometimes it'll kind of throw you off. I think as a casual fan, if you see like maybe your favorite player is Jasper Weatherby, for example, and he's number 14, you see him out there, and then maybe if it was 2 lines later instead of the usual 3, it seems like he's out there more consistently. So maybe it throws you off a little bit. And then, of course, special teams factor in because then you put a separate bunch out there.
Sure.
Kind of one guy from this side, one line from that. So anyway.
During the Call of the Wild episode that we showed a little bit during the earlier sports, Bliss was very complimentary of special teams. For those of you who don't understand what hockey special teams is, explain what a special team is.
Yeah, we don't have a field goal kicker.
Right.
you can't
or
get
long
3
snapper.
At a whack, or
Yeah.
a long snapper, or the blind long snapper guy. How cool is that?
It's a USC thing. That was cool.
Yeah, that was extremely cool. Special teams, basically whenever a penalty is assessed on a team, then that team has to go shorthanded for 2, possibly 5 minutes, depending. 2 minutes for minor penalties, 5 minutes for major penalties. So then you would play, instead of 5-on-5, then it's 5-on-4 for that prescribed amount of time. If the team that's on the power play that has the 5 skaters, if they score during that man advantage, then that guy gets to come out of the box. Unless, if it's a major penalty. On those 5-minute ones, when you go sent to the box for 5 minutes, you're in there the whole 5 minutes. And if the team scores, they can score multiple times, and the power play remains in effect. We saw the LA Kings do that in the Stanley Cup Finals against New Jersey when they won the Cup the first time in 2012. There you go.
There you go. I remember a couple of times last year, especially later on in the season with last year's Wild team, when they were just running away with everybody, best record in the league. And a number of the teams were, for the lack of a better term, picking on our better players, trying to get them out of their game by instigating physical play, hacking at the ankles, trying to start a fight. There are teams that do that, don't they? That they try to. They try to pinpoint our best players and try to get them out of their game.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, I don't know. It's pretty extremely old school, and you hate to see it. I mean, I understand it. It's part of it, I guess. I mean, you want to try to make the best players an on factor, and you see it. You hear about it in football. They're saying, "Well, you're going to beat us, but we're not going to let your quarterback beat us. You're going to have to find a different way, or you're not going to let this receiver beat us." And so, in hockey, they may single out and say, you know what, this team may beat us, but we're going to at least, it's not going to be because of that guy. We have to try to neutralize him. However, it's really going down a slippery slope when you start employing tactics that can result in injury to a player, because that's no good at any level. It's no good in the pros when guys are making millions, and it's certainly no good at this level when you have college-age athletes that are competing for college scholarships and to build their lives, to go after guys with two-hand whacks and hack at ankles and wrists and stuff. There's just no place for it in the game.
How's the health of the team now that we're 2-3 weeks into the season? They have their sea legs. Everybody, no major injuries to talk about or report?
Sea legs. Hopefully they'll have their A legs here pretty soon. Well, you know what? I guess the biggest blow that we're dealing with right now is our captain, AJ Vanderbeck, who is out for an indeterminate amount of time, but it will be at least a few weeks, it looks like, with the world famous upper body injury, right?
Okay.
But for Vandy, I mean, obviously he's back for his second year with us, and
he's the captain of the team.
He's a captain, very much a leader. Some guys are captains and they don't lead. They're just captains because somebody gave them a C on their sweater, but Vandy's not one of those guys. He's a guy that is well respected in the locker room by his peers. Has been described as intense. So, I mean, he'll be around, obviously, and his presence will certainly be there. He'll be missed on the ice. He's got a howitzer of a shot, and he runs the power play, and he's just, he's going to be missed, but, the guys are going to plow through it, and we'll be fine. But other than that, I think for the most part, everybody gets a little banged up in this game. It's a physical game, right? I mean, nobody walks out at the end of the week feeling 100%, and if you do, it means you probably aren't doing something right.
That's what I was going to say. You spent last weekend up in Chilliwack at the Bauer BCHL Showcase.
Yes.
So when you weren't covering the Wild, were you watching the other teams? Because everybody was there.
Yeah, a little bit. The thing is, there's 17 teams in the BCHL, and in order to try to get everyone to be able to compete over the span of a short time, the tournament spans 5 days. It began on Wednesday. We didn't play until Saturday, so some of the teams had already been and gone before we even showed up. I did get to see parts of a couple of games. We played Saturday afternoon and then again early Sunday morning, so we were there for a pretty limited time. So I guess I didn't really get a chance to see a whole lot of other teams. But I saw a little bit, and from what I saw, it looks like some of the teams are similar to what I saw from them last year. So, there's something to be said about culture and identity, and sometimes a team gets a characteristic, and you asked me about the Wild, for example, and, this year there'll be some similarities to what you saw last year, and I think with the other teams around the league, you'll tend to see that as well.
The basic philosophy of the Bauer BCHL Showcase is to put all the teams in one arena for 5 days for scouting purposes. How many scouts were there checking out the talent of the British Columbia Hockey League?
I've seen that every NHL team was represented, all 31 NHL teams, and all in all, there was, I think, somewhere near 250 scouts, colleges and pro combined, that were there to scout the event, and that's what it's for. You know, that's why this level of hockey exists, is to grow and nurture players so they can move on to that next level. And, you know, and it's interesting because I think, you know, the BCHL in the grand scheme of things across the continent, it's fairly respected, but it's kind of tucked away up here in the Northwest, and you know, a lot of attention gets directed towards Michigan and Minnesota, and some of your typical hockey hotbeds. But the schools are finding out more and more that, boy, there's some real talent up here in the BCHL, as evidenced last year when 3 first-round picks in the NHL draft came out of this league.
As you mentioned before, it's an odd number of teams in League 17, which is why they did some divisional realignment this year involving the Wenatchee Wild. Anything that you hear about maybe an 18th team to make it that much easier for scheduling and all that other stuff? Is there even a spot in either the upper part of the Pacific Northwest United States for an expansion team to join, or maybe a team in Canada? 17 is a strange number. You'd probably like to see 18, and where would it go?
You know what?
Is there a hole to be filled? I guess is what I'm saying.
You know, there's a lot of folks that love to talk about that kind of topic, and you know, to be honest, I think your guess is as good as mine. It's just like the NHL. NHL's got 31 teams. They're going to put a 32nd team in at some point because there's a glaring hole there in the Western
Seattle.
Conference. I know. Hello, Seattle, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, again, your guess is as good as mine. The players talk about Quebec City. They think that that would be the ideal spot for the NHL to expand. Milwaukee, Kansas City, those are a couple of places. Even interestingly enough, Toronto, who's got one of the original 6 franchises, has been bantered as a potential location. Like New York's got 2 teams.
Right.
They're saying Toronto could support 2 teams as well. So
I think Quebec should have the team. The Nordiques were a long time.
Yeah, you know what? I think a lot of people miss the Hartford Whalers too.
Yeah.
That's people romanticize about that franchise for sure. With the Brass Bonanza, that was their song. But anyway, getting back to how it affects the BCHL, you know, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, would we like to see another team stateside? Maybe, but the thing is, I mean, the WHL is already in a lot of the markets that would be suitable. You know, Seattle, Everett, and Tri-City and whatnot.
Wasn't there a team in Bellingham that was in the BCHL, I want to say?
Yeah, I think many, many moons ago.
Okay.
But it's been quite a while. I think it was, I can't remember, it might have been in the early 80s or something.
Yeah, I thought, anyway, it makes perfect sense to me. We got just a few minutes left. So you brought highlights.
I did bring highlights from the showcase.
So we're going to do the Nanaimo game first?
Right, this was Saturday afternoon. We had a 1 o'clock face-off against the Nanaimo Clippers. They're right over there in the middle of Vancouver Island. And, well, I don't know, we'll just let the highlights roll.
Let's take a look.
Handled by Morton. Morton sharply down the right wing. Sounder plays it there. Cycles and drops it off for Morton. Morton down low, rolls it in front, shot and a score! Noah Kim, as the feed came from down low over the left shoulder of Roden. And Noah Kim, the defenseman, had crept all the way down to the bottom of the circle. And he fires it home. The Wenatchee Wild draw first blood with a power play tally. And they lead it 1-0. Weatherby throws it back to the left point for Sasaki. Sasaki plays it there, moves it over to Demon. Demon over to Hessler. Hessler in, shot blocked, cleared not out, held in straight away. Demon, shot, score! That got deflected on the way through. Slava Demon unloading from dead straight away. That may have gone off a Clippers stick. But another power play tally for Wenatchee. This one coming at 16:28. We're tied at 2. Slava Demon is first of the year. Weatherby gets an assist. There's Morton, and he scores! Sam Morton got the pass from deep in the right corner, and Morton was wide open on the back door. He got hit as he took the shot, but he tucks it home. And just as quickly, the Wild retake the lead. They now lead at 3-2.
So that was the 3-3 draw with Nanaimo. That was on Saturday. Sunday morning, we shut out Langley.
We did shut out. You know, it's just like Randall Cunningham didn't know that there was ties in the NFL. There are ties in the BCHL. The next day, Langley.
Langley, here are the highlights.
Final couple of seconds tick away, and Weatherby's out of the box, and he'll play the puck over on the right wing. Has it on the backhand, drives to the net, curls all the way around, spins to the forehand on the left side. Back around for Svejkovsky, backhander to score! Lucas Svejkovsky gets his first goal of the year for the Wild, and it was set up nicely by the hard work of Jasper Weatherby. Fresh out of the box, and Svejkovsky able to backhand it in on the left-hand side of Fleming. Wild lead it 1-0. Kim drifts, Zek, midpoint, stick handles, eludes pressure from Air, back across for Kim. Kim to Svejkovsky, Kim again, back across. There's Zek, he's in, he shoots and he scores! Cooper Zek with a good heavy wrister. Noah Kim will get the assist. Svejkovsky may get the secondary assist on that, but power play goal for the Wenatchee Wild at 17:37. And the Wild now lead it 2-0. Stratton on the left wing, boost up top for Kim. Noah Kim to Zek. Zek, stick handles, waits, looks for a lane. Shoulder dip, in, shot, score! That may have been tipped. It was definitely tipped by something on the way through, but so nice slippery moves by Cooper Zek, dead straight away at the midpoint, cut over to his left, and the shot fired in on net, a power play tally, and the Wild now lead it 3-0. Morton threaded across and tried to get it to August von Ungern Sternberg, out of his reach, pops off the glass, stays in play. Near side, von Ungern Sternberg leaves it for Kim. Kim banks it off the wall down low. Centered in front for Morton. He shoots and he scores. Oh, what a nice backhanded move by Morton. Souter fed him out of the right corner, and Morton deftly flipped it up over the glove hand. Third of the year for Sammy Morton. Time of the goal is going to be 13:04. So an even strength goal for Souter. He'll keep his point streak alive. He has a point in every game this year, and he adds to the pile. So 4-0 Wenatchee leads it now. Got back behind his net and just waits, and the final few seconds will tick off the clock. And for the Wenatchee Wild, they will pick up the 4-0 shutout victory, and Seth Isley gets the first shutout of the year for the Wenatchee Wild. And the Wild pick up their third win on the year as they improve now to 3-1-0-1.
So a nice performance up in Chilliwack at the big showcase. Now it's back at the Town Toyota Center tomorrow night. What can you tell us about Cowichan Valley?
Well, the Cowichan Valley Capitals, they're a team, they play in the Island Division like Nanaimo. We've only seen them 4 times since we've been in the league. We've won the last 2. We beat them both times last year. And it's only, we're only going to see them twice this year again. And interestingly, the 2 times are going to come about a week apart because they're here tomorrow night, and then next Sunday we'll be there. So, and then we won't see them again the rest of the year. So they're a team, they've gotten off to a bit of a slow start. They've struggled just a smidge, but you know what, BCHL, any team, any night. Yep. We found that out last year. Mm-hmm. Yes, you underestimate someone, and I think last night in Merritt, Surrey played Merritt, and Merritt beat them 2-1. It was the first win of the year for Merritt. They were 0-6 to start. And Surrey, they pounded them. They outshot them more than 2-1, but they lost the game 2-1. So
pucks have a tendency to bounce kind of funny every now and then, don't they?
Yeah, but I'm sure the Wild are fired up about playing at home and atoning for the opening night loss, which I know they didn't feel real good about.
Puck drops at 7:05. We got about 20 seconds left. What's the promotion tomorrow night? What's anything going on special we need to know about?
Well, tomorrow night, Works is our official workout location, and they're the big promoters of the deal. And they're bringing in a dance act called the Brutes. They're going to be doing a show on Saturday in town. Those guys are going to be coming to the game, so that's about it.
Tomorrow I'll be broadcasting live from the Wenatchee. Les Schwab, come by and see us. Till then, bye-bye.